All right, everyone. How's it going today? Coach Jake here with Coach Tom Calliari, right now currently at Penn State DuBois baseball head coach. Appreciate Tom joining us. This guy's resume is off the charts. He's got some great experience. He's won championships basically at every level, as high as you can go. He coached pros, coached college, coached high school. He's done it all. So super excited to hear what Coach has to say. And so, let's just dive right in. Coach, if you don't mind, let's just start off with who you are, where you're from, and then let's go first with your playing career.
Okay. So I'm from Brockway, Pennsylvania. I grew up in the late 80s, 90s, early 90s, graduated. Got a couple scholarship offers to play baseball. I actually was injured in my senior year in high school. I was hit in the eye in actually phys ed class, and ironically now I teach health and phys ed. But I was bedridden for 2 weeks, and not many people know this. And the doctor said I would never play sports again, and I still have a little trouble with perception. So I was invited to a couple of pro tryouts prior to that, just workouts, and I never was the same player after that. But fortunately, was Lock Haven University took to their word and gave me an opportunity to be on the Lock Haven University baseball team, which I felt like I would have done better before the injury, but I ended up being a utility guy. I mean, I played a lot of infield, played every different position on the field, and really enjoyed my experiences there. Love Lock Haven, very loyal to that. And then really was passionate about coaching. Talked to the head baseball coach at Penn State University, main campus, and Joe Hindeline gave me took a chance on a young guy, and his biggest concern was my age. He was concerned because I was just graduating college that I would party with the players, and I said, "You don't know me very well, Coach. I'm not that type of person." So it was weird. It's a funny story real quick. So we were in Santa Clara, California. We played Stanford, we played Cal Berkeley, Pacific, played all these California schools, and we were getting our butts handed to us. So we were 0-9 on the trip. We came back, and the head coach asked me, he said, "What do you think of our hitters?" And I said, "I'm going to be honest with you, Coach. They're terrible." And he goes, "What do you think we should do?" And I said, and I gave him a whole laundry list of things we should do. And after that, he just said, "You're the new hitting coach." So ended up being a hitting coach at Penn State in '96, and we won our first ever Big Ten championship, which was pretty awesome, and their only Big Ten championship they've ever won since. So obviously cool getting a Big Ten championship ring was pretty sweet, and got some job offers. Ended up going out to Cleveland, Ohio, working with guys with the Atlanta Braves, worked with guys from Notre Dame, Cal State Fullerton. I learned a ton from the Cal State Fullerton coaches. So went out there in the summer, coached out there in the summer with those guys, which were awesome, and got a job at Greensboro College in North Carolina. And ironically enough, we won their first and only, while I was there, my only year there, we won the Dixie Conference Championship and got another cool ring, and was the infield and hitting coach there as well, which was awesome. After that, I got offered some jobs at Western Michigan and some different universities, and I decided to come home. And I had a little brother, which Coach Jake knows, same age as him now. We're little, meaning he's 25, I think. But came home to watch him grow up and wanted to be a part of his life. And, started a collegiate summer league team and was named the amateur coach of the year in Pennsylvania by USA Baseball. And we won our conference every year and finished second in the country in summer collegiate league. And then this job came calling at Penn State DuBois, and they asked me to start the program. Got clearance from the wife, and we were off and running. We had zero roster, and we've won the conference every year, regular season. We won 2 national championships, which is pretty cool. Coached a lot of big league guys along the way. And now in the big leagues. Some of them are in the big leagues, some are just in the minor leagues. And love the relationships, love the guys, love the program. Love meeting guys like Jake and seeing him grow up and do such great things with the youth. Coach Jake's awesome. and just really look forward to seeing guys every day and then watching them develop as people is really my thing more than anything. I just do it with baseball. That's kind of my background. Sorry.
No, that's great. So let's just dive into, you're a kid in high school at Brockway. It's a small town. You find your way onto a Division II baseball team, and have some pretty good success there. What did you do as a younger kid that developed? Was it time, or did you have a mentor?
Yeah. I truly wish I had guys like you, Jake, growing up, to be honest, because you take the time to help people and help kids just with stuff like this. When I was growing up, this sounds like a 30 for 30, but I was basically just getting ground balls, throwing the ball off the wall. My dad would come down after working all day and just hit ground balls to me. Hit the ball off the tee a little bit and just really be old school with it and do it every single day. Just little things. Honestly, I truly believe how I got better as a player was we played every day. We played not just organized baseball with a uniform. We had a game every day with just kids. They would just show up at the field, meet every day. We kept stats. In fact, two of the guys, one is a doctor now. He played college basketball at Bucknell, Pat Hook, who I'm sure you know of, and Eric Pavard. He was another guy who's now the head coach at Chaminade, was a very successful basketball player. There were two of the guys. We played baseball every day. I truly felt we got better by running the bases, competing. That is the big thing, being able to compete against your friends and not want to lose and learning how to do all the little things. Anybody can hit off the tee. Anybody can take BP. And nowadays, kids, when they practice, they go hit BP, they take some ground balls, and they go home. They just don't play. They don't learn all the little intricacies of how to run the bases, when you're supposed to go to third, what you're supposed to do with the ball in certain situations. So I truly believe that's what made us better. And I wish I'd see more kids do that. But baseball takes a lot more guys to do it than basketball. Well, obviously, more guys in the field.
Yeah, Coach, we have Albert and I have talked about it before, and the way he likes to say it is just being a fan of the game, whether it's watching it, whether it's playing it, just always being around it. You pick up on things over time.
Yep.
If you, just like you said, show up, put in a little bit of work and leave, and that's it for the day, you're going to miss out on a lot.
Well, it's like our guys. Our guys in college. You coach some college too. How many guys really sit down and watch the game? They don't. I'll send our guys a text and say, if anybody's watching I'll just use for a random example, who's ever watching the Pirates versus Cardinals game tonight, I'm going to be asking questions tomorrow about the game and what happened. And one of our greatest players we've had, in fact, he was the World Series MVP last year, Toner Coral, who's a tremendous leader, tremendous person, tremendous player. I asked him a random question, and he couldn't answer it. He couldn't give me the right answer. They just don't watch what's happening during the game, or when they go to batting practice, what the guys are actually doing to prepare. They're, just little things like sprinting in between while warming up or whatever it might be. But just little things all the time. And I always talk to the guys about little things. But you're right, watching the game, they don't watch the little things that make them better. Maybe watching The Last Dance with Jordan. If you want to watch the greatest competitor of all time, he is the greatest competitor of all time. It's not close. Baseball, basketball, it's not close. So I enjoy things like that. And I think kids have lost that by not going out in the backyard and competing. Truly, they have it.
Yeah. Coach, not to take away from your playing career at all, you obviously Division II baseball player, out of a small town, that's a big deal. But your coaching career is, your resume is something else at this point. So not to downplay that, I just want to, go through a few of these things. We've previously talked, you'd mentioned already, but, go to Penn State, you win a Big Ten championship. You go to Greensboro, you win a Dixie Cup championship. You coach the 16U team. You're the USAA or PA Coach of the Year. Then you go to, it doesn't matter. You go to Penn State DuBois for 4 seasons. You have 4 conference championships. You have 2 national titles. You're a 4-time Coach of the Year. You have 8 players all conference, 30 players that are all academic conference. You have the athlete of the year on your team and 15 All-Americans in 4 seasons. It's just, it seems like success is just kind of following you, or you're following it. Could you touch on a key or a couple key factors that you think have played into the success that you've seen, not only through yourself, but your teams and your individuals?
I appreciate all the kind words, and I'm very grateful, truly grateful for every opportunity I've had. I've said this before, but I've never fielded a ground ball. Teams I've coached, I've never hit a ball. The teams I've coached, the players deserve all the credit in the world. I just lead them to the water. They're the ones that have to drink it. I mean, it's an old cliche, but it's very true. I mean, yeah, we can, and I surround myself by knowledgeable people. The smartest thing I've ever done was be able to have relationships with people. That's the key to coaching, is relationships with your players. Get to know your players, get to know what makes them tick, get to know what motivates them, get to know them, how they're willing to compete, and truly care about them, and know that if they know that you are supporting them, not only just on the baseball field, but off the baseball field, they will run through a brick wall for you. And, there's a lot of people teaching the same stuff I teach, but it's how they present it. And my assistants are unbelievable. Mike Nesbitt, TJ Gornati, Dan Bowman, who played for me, Garrett Brown, who's the best competitor ever. Him and my brother are the 2 best competitors I've ever coached. And, his huge heart, to Caleb Bennett, I'm missing somebody. Jeff Gasberry is another one of our assistants. Doc Peters, who works on the guys. So all of our guys, we've surrounded our team with great people. The kids deserve all the credit. They do all the work. So I would attribute our success to, number one, as a coach, surround yourself by good people, caring people. I want to have relationships with people, because this is a relationship business. I don't care what anybody says. It is a relationship business. You got to build a culture, a family culture. You build a family culture with a relationship business. We teach the basics, and we know our stuff, and all our coaches are great, but the kids are very knowledgeable too. And you combine all that, the kids deserve all the credit. And I'll take all the blame when we don't win. I'll always tell them, and you guys go play hard. I'll take all the blame. If we lose, it's my fault. You win, it's your credit. And the individual success is them going in the classroom, and all of our coaches and even our leadership council holding everybody accountable. Like, I hold our guys accountable, and they know that. They got to go to class or I'm suspending guys. But I've also created a leadership council, which has created a culture, which I have 6 to 8 guys, depending on who I pick as leaders, because we have a roster of like 35, maybe 37 this year. And they hold their teammates accountable. Heck, one guy got thrown off the team, and I didn't even have to do it. Our leadership, because they know how I am, I just said, if it gets to me, it's not going to be good. And they took care of it before it got to me. And I just called the guy and said, it's not working out with the leadership. Just have your uniform in, because they already talked to him and said, don't come back. So our leaders have really, again, players deserve all the credit. They're awesome. At Penn State, main campus, a little bit different culture. But again, if you believe in people, you have relationships with people, you show them you care, and you teach them how to compete and be accountable, you'll win. You'll win. But it's tough sometimes. It's tough to hold them accountable. You got to make some hard decisions. They're not going to like you all the time. You can't worry about being liked. Cannot worry about being liked, because they'll understand later. As you know, you and I, growing up and some of the stuff we've been through, can't worry about it. You just got to do the right thing. So that was kind of a long answer, so I apologize.
No, I that's, again, it's all in the details. You gotta get down to it. So, I know that just from my time knowing you, and I was, I'm at the campus here when you guys were having some great success. I knew some of the players that are, played for you, you're coaching. And one thing that keeps recurring is the leadership and the accountability with your team. Not only that you hold to them, but that everybody holds to each other. So, you said of a team of 37 guys, 35 guys, 6 of those guys will make it onto the leadership council. So from a player's, from a player's aspect, what types of things are you looking for and your assistants looking for that's like, okay, hey, that guy needs to be on this leadership council?
Yeah, it's a great question. Honestly, Jake, I've never been asked that question, and it's a great question. Me in particular, some of my answers might be a little long, only because I never pigeonhole myself into it's got to be this check mark, this check mark, this check mark. It's got to be a variety of things. Number one, high character. Number two, their work ethic. Number three, are they a good person in and out of the classroom and in and out of the baseball field? Do they have credibility when they talk? As you know, Garrett Brown, he has credibility when he talks. Toner Coral, he has credibility when he talks. Kids that will go above and beyond the field of play to make sure their teammates are successful. And one of the greatest ones we have on our leadership council is Frank Stefko. And Frankie gets limited playing time. Like, he may get 15 to 20 bats a year, but he's the first guy in the bullpen getting the pitchers ready. He's the only guy you hear on the bench all the time. He's the first guy up in the dugout to support his teammates. If guys hold each other accountable and he knows and they know that he's not the best skilled player, but he's the most respected player on the team because he cares about his teammates' success. Those are the kind of attributes. So high character, accountability, class and integrity in and out of the classroom and on the field, doing things right and being a great competitor, and being able to control your emotions and being able to handle different personalities is important. Controlling emotions sometimes can be hard when you're a competitor, as you know. It's one of the things we talk about, body language and not coming in and slamming equipment, or, I get that sometimes. You're frustrated. Sometimes, you just let it go and blow some steam, then we talk about it afterwards. But if it gets to be one of those things where it's a problem, we all talk about it as a team. So I never want to give a label on someone as a captain, because everybody knows who the leaders are. And even if you're not on the leadership council, you could still be a leader. Last year, Brandon Orsich was his first year he was on the leadership council. He's been our best pitcher. He begged me to be on the leadership council the year before, and I said, no, Brandon, because emotionally he wasn't ready. Emotionally, he would be sometimes a train wreck because he let his emotions get the best of him. Great kid, awesome player, number one pitcher of the year. But that stuff didn't matter to me. It mattered that he held himself and controlled and role modeled, I think is probably the best way to say it. The things we were looking for are those, class attributes that we hold ourselves to. The standard. I always tell guys, the standard's a standard. And they'll ask me, Coach, what's the theme this year? Because I always have a theme. I said, the theme is the standard, fellas. You walk through that door, you walk through that gate, it's everybody that's ever worn this uniform. The standard's winning. If you're not up to that challenge, then you'll find yourself on a bench or you'll quit. It's kind of one of the two. And the standard is, being a responsible person on and off the field. And if you get in trouble off the field, I've suspended guys for getting in trouble back in their hometowns. They go home, they get in trouble, they come back, they don't go on trips. They don't go on a Southern trip, the 8-game Myrtle Beach trip. They don't go. And it puts their teammates in a bad situation because some of them are really good players. And now that starts to matriculate within the team, and they hold each other accountable. Don't make mistakes. Make your better decisions. So decision-making, accountability, and it snowballs. But it starts with me, starts with my assistant coaches. They all hold everybody accountable. And then you have your leadership where they might take care of things that I don't know about, which sometimes is a good thing. And if they can't take care of it, then it comes to me. So, it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Yeah, thanks.
Long
Coach.
answer, right?
No, again, I love it. The knowledge is just, I can't get enough of it. So, when you look again at, we're going to talk here a little bit about just the Penn State DuBois. I know we've kind of been getting into it a little bit already, but again, 4 seasons, 4 championships, back-to-back national titles, 4-time Coach of the Year. From an outside perspective, and I know that I've heard you say this yourself, it all looks like the glitz and the glam, and everybody just is, it's the best thing ever, going on. But when it comes down to it, on the inside, there's always, this Jordan documentary is a good example. On the inside, there's always some adversity. So if you wouldn't mind, for a player coming up right now, whether it's baseball, basketball, football, whatever sport they're playing, what kind of advice could you give to somebody about, especially on a team like you're coaching? I'm sure you have plenty of kids who were the best players on their team and are now coming to an absolute powerhouse of a school and may not, be ready to step into the role that they initially thought. Or maybe they need to conduct themselves in a different way. I mean, there's just tons of different adversity that people have to accomplish. So what kind of advice could you give to somebody in a situation like that, or just overcoming adversity in a sport at all?
Yeah, great question again. I think like you said, a lot of these kids, they may come from bigger schools or smaller schools, and they're the guy, like they're the man, and you deal with that with coaching, and all of a sudden they're not the guy anymore, and it's a different level. And that starts with me, our assistants, and our leadership explaining to them, we're going to give everybody an opportunity in practices. Practices is your evaluation. Every time you practice, every time you're in the weight room, every time you have a chance in a game, we do inter squads, that's your opportunity. And what you do with the opportunity is up to you. So then we have our individual meetings. We say, all right, this is what you do well. We try to stay positive. This is what you really do well. This is what you really need to work on. So for now, we're going to take what you really do well, and that's going to be your role. For us to be successful and get another ring, which they all love the rings, this is what you have to do right now. And if you're not willing to accept that, that's okay, but you're not going to be a cancer on our team. And those guys expose themselves immediately. And I'd say in 4 years, I've thrown off 2 guys that weren't willing to accept it. And we had to cut ties with them because they just were creating a little bit of drama. They were creating a little bit of a negativity in the dugout. So we had to just say, hey, enough's enough. That's just not going to happen. And all of our guys understand that there's a role to be played for us to be successful as a team. So we kind of, our leadership does a phenomenal job of, I let them speak and let them know that everybody needs to accept their roles. Our coaches, myself, we just kind of continue to tell them, accept their role, accept your role. We even buy wristbands says, know your role for us to be successful. And that's why recruiting those type of high character, you're going to miss on some guys when you recruit, some guys that maybe their true character will show up, but guys who handle adversity, it reveals who their true character really is. And if they're not willing to be able to handle failure and handle a role, they reveal themselves and they don't last. They don't last. And we tell them right up front, we're just really transparent. We're really honest with guys. And I think they appreciate it. And the guys that are willing to compete and understand and accept their roles, they stick around. And again, that's why we're successful, because we honestly don't deal with people that don't accept them. We don't have time for it. Our players don't have time for it. It's not just me. Our players don't. I can't even begin to tell you, Jake, how many times players have come to me and said, I have a problem with this kid. I have a problem with this kid. I spend more time as a psychologist talking to guys about, troubles in school, and that's okay. I mean, I just want them to be good people first and foremost. And they talk to our assistant coaches, and our assistant coaches are great about being able to handle that. And they'll come to me and ask for advice. But I can't tell you how many times players have come to me and said, I have a problem with this kid on our team and we need to get it fixed. And I'll share a story. I won't tell the kid's name, but there was one kid that came in as a freshman. He was a phone call away from getting thrown off because he was not being a true teammate. And he's a freshman. He's trying to impress his older teammates coming in as a freshman. He's doing things, being very arrogant, just saying things that, just kind of jagging guys at practice. Our guys didn't appreciate it. So I called him. I was like, hey, if this happens again, you're done. Our guys they don't like it. I've had several phone calls that they're irritated by how you're acting. And ever since then, he's been a model player. In fact, he's now on next year's leadership council. He's turned it around so much. He stays extra for ground balls. He works hard in the weight room, goes to class, just a great leader now. And you just got to hold him accountable to it. And kudos to him. He did it. He could have just said, screw you, coach. I'm not doing that. Sorry for saying that. But he might just went like this. But he didn't. And he knew if he wanted to be around, he's going to do it. So, yeah, I think guys are shell-shocked when they're playing against kids that are just as good, if not better, most of the time better. It just takes them a while to, hey, I either got to get better or accept my role. It's one of the two. So we don't hand anybody anything. I think that's the big thing with our program. We make them earn everything. So
awesome. You touched there a little bit on working hard in the weight room, and that's something that I really want to cover. Again, kind of the experience that I had over at the school, being in the same weight room as your guys. If you go down there, you guys have, goals posted everywhere. You have routines. Everybody's on the same page and fully bought in to being a better athlete and getting stronger in the weight room. If you don't mind, touch quick on what you think the weight room, really does for, a kid that separates them.
Yeah, for sure. Caleb Bennett and Doc Peters, and Dan Bowman has had some say with our driveline program, and our pitching coaches put their input in. So all the coaches have their input on what we want us to get out of the program. And then Caleb, he put together this 4-phase weight program, and we have this big competition in the spring when everybody comes back, we call it our Iron Line competition, and it's been great. It's gone well. But he has goals. We put everybody in groups, with leaders in each group to hold everybody accountable within that group and time frame, because you can't fit everybody in there. And, the 4-phase weight program from year 1 to now, you physically see the development. Like a freshman coming in that's never been on that program compared to a kid as a junior that's been on it for 2 years, it's night and day. Baseball functional strength. Some kids are naturally gifted, but once they get in the weight room and once they buy in and once they see the leader of that group and how it has affected them and made their body different, they start buying in, especially when they see those guys performing well on the field. And it's our job to reiterate it and make guys accountable, and the leaders have to take role, making sure that they show up. So they take role and then they report back to me. And, again, they put like you said, they see the goal, they put their goals on the wall. And then Coach Bennett, Caleb Bennett, he charts, where they started and then where they finish, so they can visually see how their progressions. So we're actually trying to do a little bit even better job now. He's researching some technology, so guys can input it on apps. It's going to cost some money, but we'll just see what he can find on that, and just try to take it to even the next level. So all the coaches can monitor it, not Caleb reporting back to some. It'll kind of eliminate the middleman. But again, it starts with our players. It ends with our players. We give them the format. We give them the template. But they go in there and do all the work. They hold each other accountable. They are the ones that deserve all the credit there. And we make sure we pair them up sometimes, but sometimes they pair themselves up. Hey, I really want to work with Toner, or I want to work with Joey DePietro, who's an absolute horse. LJ Johnson was the weakest kid ever when he came here. I even told him to his face, I go, LJ, you're the weakest kid on our team. He got on the weight program. He was a stud, and he had a great outing, his first outing this year, and I was really hopeful that he was not going to have a good year, but the weight room turned him around. Isaac Stouffer comes to mind. He was the freshman of the year last year. He came in as a freshman in the fall, and he was soft, just kind of big. He's 6'3", 6'4". He just didn't have a real tightened body. He got on the program, and he did all the work. He deserves all the credit. He did all the work, worked his tail off, and he ended up being a freshman of the year, led the team in home runs. He hit a ball over the luxury box. I mean, he was a game changer on our team. He's a stud. So yeah, weight room's huge. When players see kids like that go from one end of the spectrum to the other, they start buying in. And again, really, it's the players. We get the format, but it's really them more than anything.
Coach, just a couple more things for you here, and we'll let you go for the evening.
Sure.
I'm sure you got big plans right now, right?
Yeah, right now. Big plans. I'll turn on the TV when we're done here and watch old baseball games or, Duck Dynasty or something. Yeah.
So one thing, that impresses me, and from talking and just from watching it, I see you here at, a relatively smaller college, lower level D3, but here you are with, guys, you got Dan Stouffer, right, transferred in from St. Bonaventure. So you got, I mean, this is not an uncommon thing for a D1, a D2 guy to transfer to a smaller program. So what, I know that just seeing the program, just knowing the kids, man, you guys just have so much fun with it. How important is it to create that environment where kids don't lose that love? Like they're just working so hard that they don't, they lose the love for it. Because I've seen that happen.
Yeah, that's a great question. Every year we've had a transfer. Every single year we've had a Division II, Division III, now Division I transfer come in based on our reputation, based on maybe knowing guys they played with maybe in the summer. We try to do a lot of things off the field together. We'll go have a golf tournament together. We play 3-on-3 basketball, which you actually participated in. And we play like cornhole, and we'll have a big picnic at one of the coaches' places and play bocce ball and compete with it. We'll have brackets, bragging rights, ping pong. We do a lot of things together off the field as much as we can. I mean, you can't do it all, but we even had a paintball excursion set up this year. But it got ixnayed right at the last minute because the place we were going to didn't have any insurance. But we had it all set up and it didn't work out. But so we try to do a lot of stuff together off the field. And, I try to really work on the mental aspect off the field as well. Having them get to know one another. But we try to have fun. I mean, I get after them when we need to get after them. They know when it's time to, to get to work. But truly, our coaches are again, surround yourself by great people. Our coaches are phenomenal people, and they love to have fun with the kids. Heck, I've taken kids fishing. They'll come to my house and play cards. The twins, Thane and Zane Morgan. Hey, coach, you want to play cards tonight? Yeah, sure, come on over. They'll bring a couple teammates. And Dan Stoffer, the Division I guy, was one of them. They come over, they'll play cards. My assistants will show up, and you just, they want to play cards. They want to hang out. They want to talk baseball, and so it brings everybody together, and they'll want to just anything really. Just call on the phone to have get-togethers. We go up to the school and have a get-together, have a pizza party together, and watch TV, or just really. We took all of our cornhole, and we had night bocce ball over to Showers Field, and we played on the field one night. So try to do, honestly, as much as we possibly can, as much time, because I have a family too. And but the leadership guys get together and do some fun stuff too. They play football and do some different things. But I truly think our guys love each other. I truly think they try to do things. You got to do things outside of the game to appreciate and grow together. So I personally try to set up things that we can do that with. Our golf tournament's been an annual thing now. Cornhole, bocce ball, things are annual things that we do. I'd like to start a volleyball thing. We actually did play volleyball one night together as a team up at the campus. We just threw up the nets, and we didn't have practice. We just went up and said, hey, we're going to play volleyball tonight. And we just had some fun. And again, learning how to compete and develop relationships is the key to it all. Develop relationships, talk to each other, get to know one another, know what makes each other tick, and get after them if you need to get after them. To get after each other, which is fun. So really, to answer your question, just a lot of cool stuff off the field that we try to incorporate and intertwine into so it's not so monotonous and they don't feel like pawns of just baseball. Just different stuff that make it fun. It's fun for me, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. just forming those relationships are huge. You touched on it now. That's what the whole thing is really learning who you're working with and learning how to work with them and just knowing people and enjoying people. That is huge. Coach, but one thing
Sure.
that really stands out to me, we've talked about the success now on the field. We've talked about the success in the weight room. You have guys bought in and enjoying it. But what may be the most impressive stat on this Penn State DuBois list is 30 academic All-Americans in 4 years. And I know that every year you guys have held over a 3.0 team GPA.
Yeah.
What does that what does that say for maybe the type of guy that you're recruiting, and what does that say for what academics mean to a college coach?
Oh yeah, and I'm the first one to tell them when we recruit kids is you're here to get a degree and you're not here to waste your parents' money. So we have study tables, mandatory study tables, every Wednesday that our leadership council takes roll. So we make them have accountability. So they all show up for study table, and if they don't, they have consequences. So if they don't show up for class, they have consequences. May have 2 guys that don't show up for class. I'll call them up. What's going on? And there might be a legitimate reason, so I want to hear the reason first. But if it's not a legitimate reason, and it's a small campus, so if they're lying because the leaderships will tell us. They'll tell us if they're lying. They're not going to let them get off on that. And we'll suspend. I've not taken guys on games they'll just do foul ball duty. So they know it's all about the degree. You get the degree. Baseball is just a platform. It's a small, speed bump along the way. It teaches us life, but truly it's all about your education. And we've had success in the classroom. We have smart kids. Coach Nesbitt and myself and Coach Bowman, and it's nice to have Coach Bowman now in the missions. We really be able to look through their transcripts and understand if they're an intelligent kid and they're not going to be a red flag, because why recruit a kid if he's going to be ineligible? So Coach Nesbitt does a good job. We follow up with their high school coaches and their references to find out if, they're a troubled kid or if they don't go to class. And if it's a red flag and it comes down between that kid and another kid, we're usually taking any other kid who has, is more serious about their degree. It might not be as talented, but we'll take them instead, so we don't have to worry about them. So yeah, it's a lot of recruiting. It's a lot of, I guess, really doing your due diligence and finding out information about them, researching them. But it's also about holding them accountable once they're here. And if they don't go to class, there's major consequences. Like, that's probably the thing I've really disciplined the most on, probably more than anything. It's really, that is not even a question. It's the thing I've disciplined guys the most on, by sleeping in or skipping a class. And if I find out about it, if I get an email from a professor, they're getting benched. Just the way that it is. It sounds terrible, but it's the right message. They're here to get a degree, not play baseball. So they are what they are. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. And for a high school kid, maybe watching right now, just stressing, the importance of grades a lot of the time. We had Coach Tanner Gooden, who was on last week, and he said, the key, most important factor to him in recruiting a kid is going to be his high school transcripts. How well is he doing? Is he, accountable to his own grades? Because if he can't handle himself in the classroom, how can you expect him to handle himself on a field?
Right. And I would say not only that, and it's very important, obviously, and that is the most important thing. That's why they're here. And you got to be stern, and you got to be, steadfast, and making them accountable to going to class and making sure they're doing well in their grades. And some guys, slip. I get it. The other thing is making sure and other factors are like social media. For high school kids out there, be careful what you're putting on social media. Coaches look at it. I look at it. If I'm recruiting Jake Perrin, and he's, we're having a relationship by recruiting and visiting and talking on the phone, I'm going to look up his social media. And if I see him there with an alcoholic beverage on his Twitter page, we're probably not recruiting him. I'm probably going to stop recruiting him, because I know if he's putting that, he's comfortable enough to put that on his social media page, what's going to stop him from doing things I don't know about. So those are headaches I want nothing to do with. because it creates tension in the program, creates problems in the program, makes our image look bad as a program. And I don't want that. The community doesn't support that. You got to have a supportive community and guys that are willing to go out and do things. Like our guys go out and do Toys for Tots. They go out, Make-A-Wish. They light up night, Christmas night. They'll help at a auction by loading trucks. So we try to get our guys in the community. If we have a reputation of doing drugs or doing bad things that aren't good and have bad social media sites, you can't have it both ways. It's got to be one way or the other. And, people don't respect you for it. So, again, accountability, doing the right thing all the time, on and off the field. Just the way
Coach,
it is. So.
Yeah. Two things left for you here. One, this is something I'm excited to hear about, but is there a key moment in, I'm sure there's a ton of them throughout, the success that you've seen in your career, but is there one moment that stands out to you that you'll just never forget, something that just has been a game changer?
In my coaching career?
Yeah.
Well, obviously winning 2 national championships was really nice. But I think that was a culmination of a lot of hard work. I'll say 2 off the top of my head, and I'm sure there's so many emotional moments, and there's so many relationships, things with people. I'll say my brother has impacted myself and how I've coached. He's been very important, and I like to talk to him about things with coaching and baseball, and just being around him has impacted me a lot. I would say when I was in high school, when I had my injury I had mentioned earlier, a teacher came to me and said, and I was so worried about getting in the weight room that night because I was on a routine. It's like, I got to get to the weight room. I got to get to the weight room. And he made the comment, he goes, Babe Ruth didn't lift weights. Mickey Mantle didn't lift weights. I turned and I yelled at this 6'7" teacher, and I'm only a punk kid in high school. And I was just so passionate. And I said, I'm not Babe Ruth and I'm not Mickey Mantle. I do things to get better because I have to. And our relationship changed after that. I mean, I didn't do it intentionally. I never even thought about it. It was just an instinctive thing that him and I got closer. It gave him a different perspective for the athlete that doesn't have God-given abilities, and you have to work a little harder, I guess. So I think that moment, as far as playing, had an impact on how I played and how much harder I had to work than everybody else to get to where I had to be. As far as coaching-wise, there's been so many. The Penn State moment when the head coach gave me the keys of the car, basically said, take over hitting, gave me the confidence to know that what I'm doing is what I'm saying, what I believe in is good enough to win a Big Ten championship. I think it's pretty good. Getting a lot of guys drafted. I had 25 guys that have gotten drafted now. Feeling like every time I listen to a coach or listen on a convention or listen to other people's perspectives in different places. I just was on a conference call from a coach I really respect at a Division I program. He invited me to a conference call, and everything that they do in their program is everything we do in our program. And just gives me confidence to know that we do things the right way. But it really, probably the most impactful thing in my coaching career is just the relationships when I get phone calls from guys that I've coached, and like Albert Barrichello and yourself and Chris Barrichello and Dom and, all the Garrett Brown and my brother and, all these people that Joe Bimo, who played in big leagues, and get a phone call from him, and just being able to have those relationships and, hey, remember when you did that, coach? Hey, remember when you did this? Remember when you said that? I think that impacts me the most. It's not something I plan on doing, but it's at the time, but it makes me feel like I've had an impact on their lives. And truly, that's why I coach. It's not for the wins and the losses. I mean, those are great, but it's truly to make a difference. And as I always tell guys, there's two types of people in this world, fellas. People that are focused on money and people that are focused on making a difference. If you're focused on material things, that's fine. Focus on that. I'm not that guy. So you're one or the other. and I'm focused on helping making our, I guess, our small little world right here where I am a little bit better. And I just do it through baseball. So I
It
guess that's it.
definitely seems like, you know, you have some crazy relationships and, you know, some great memories.
Yeah. Too many to narrow down to one or two. Just, again, I think relationships with all the players, my brother in particular, Garrett Brown is a special one too. And all the big league guys that you're able to be fortunate enough to coach, and all the coaches that I've coached with. Mike Nesbitt has had a big impact on my coaching career. Mike has been a mentor to me since I was a player, and now we coached together for years. And now he's my assistant, which is kind of funny. But he's a great bench coach, great friend, great mentor. Love bouncing things off Coach Nez. If I'm unsure of something, he gives great perspective because he's older. He's been there, and I love him to death. So, yeah, just relationships. I think that's the big thing.
Awesome. Well, Coach, last thing for you here for the evening. We touched on a ton of different subjects. One of those being adversity. You know, here you guys are coming off back-to-back national championships. I'm sure with all intentions of three-peating, knowing the players on the team. I know that, you know, emotions are high. It's just such a tough time for everyone right now. What kind of advice or what are you encouraging your players to think like or to do in a time that can just be so impactful and really with not much to do? How do you keep moving forward?
Yeah, Jake, I wish there was one answer I could give you on that one. And I'm sure you're still searching for that with some of your AAU programs as well and trying to stay. And you're doing a phenomenal job, I'll say again, with all your things that you're doing and trying to stay engaged with people just by doing this. We try to have Zoom meetings. May have them once a week or once every 2 weeks, and try to have we have trivia games on there just to break it up and have a little fun and talk trash to one another. So that's been fun. Try to keep them engaged. So get to see everybody's faces. We've intertwined our team this past year with our new recruits coming in, and we've introduced them to the guys through the Zoom meetings, which has been fun. So they get to know each other a little bit that way. It's not the same, but it's still, you know, it's a kind of bridging the gap a little bit. I encourage all of our guys all the time through text messages and through the Zoom meetings, through our group texts, to take advantage of this opportunity. There's nothing you can do about it. It's an uncontrollable, something we talk about nonstop as their uncontrollables. This is another uncontrollable. You can't control when people die in your lives. You can't control if you get canned from your job. It's something that you have to deal with. And what are you going to do next? It's no different than being on the field and an umpire makes a bad call where there's something that happens that's unusual. Are you going to pout about it on the mound? Or are you going to pout about it at the plate? Are you going to pout about it in the dugout? Or you got to, all right, what do I got to do now? This is the situation. What do I got to do now? And I'm trying to encourage our guys to, what do you do now? So what do they do now is take advantage of our weight program. Get back in the weight room. Lift weights, get stronger, get your bodies healthier, get stronger. If you want to be on the field next year, get in the weight room and be stronger than the other guy. Competing off the field right now, in the weight room with their bodies, working on their skills, whatever their weaknesses were. And I've had guys call me, Coach, what do I need to work on to improve myself? And I'll give them some advice of what they need to work on. But the biggest thing's been taking advantage of this opportunity to spend some time with their families, number one, because that's so important. Life goes by too fast. And number two, take advantage and get your body stronger and work on your craft. And not go into, if they start playing summer ball again, not just jumping right into it, pitchers especially, and start throwing, complete games, but, because you hurt yourself. So they have to throw. They have to, right now during this time, they have to throw. They have to be in the weight room. They have to be keeping their bodies tuned, not just sitting around. So again, back to what you do and you love to do with conditioning is really, encouraging everybody to stay engaged in the weight room and engaged in their fitness. And we try to stay engaged with everybody. And we had that fun little, I don't know if you've seen it on our Twitter page where, they're throwing the ball to one teammate to another, different parts of the state. So, just fun stuff. But really just constantly encouraging, stay off the ice cream like me. I can go out and eat ice cream, but they can't. So I told Brandon Orsich the other day, I go, what do you think I'm eating right now? Because he's from Clearfield. And the famous pizza in Clearfield, side note, is Mabel's Pizza. And that was originally my aunt's. And I go, he goes, I don't know, you're eating broccoli, because I'm always on him about nutrition. I go, no, Brandon, I'm eating pizza. You know why? Because I can. You can't, but I can. So, yeah.
I'll get there someday.
Yeah. No, he still does. And I have to get on him about it. But, yeah, it's been good. It's been good.
Well, Coach, nothing but respect. Commend all your accomplishments. An insane resume. What you're doing with this Penn State DuBois program is just impressive. I love following along. Definitely thinking about you guys right now with the season. But I have no doubt that you'll come back next year without missing a beat, stronger than ever. So
I appreciate it.
Coach, loved having you. Loved having what you had to say. We'll let you go for the rest of the night here. For anybody tuning in again, Coach Tom Calliari, Penn State DuBois men's head baseball coach. Again, guys been everywhere, coached all levels, won championships in nearly all levels, coached pros, everything. So, Coach, thanks again for joining us, and dream big.
Thank you, Jake. I appreciate it. And I want to just tell everybody out there that if you ever have the opportunity to get with Coach Jake and Coach Albert Verkello, would take advantage of the DuBois dream. They are doing tremendous things. It's not just about basketball. For them, it's about impacting kids and doing the right thing and just helping kids be active, be healthy, learn about the game, be competitive, and just be better people. And they are a lot younger than me, and they have a lot more energy, and they are awesome. So anytime, if you love basketball, you got to be with those guys. It's very, very important. So thank you, Jake. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you, Coach. Have a good one.
You too. Thank you.